Let's get Incursion ready. Right, obviously incursions are a bit of a speculative notion at this point. We know they're coming, we're not too sure when. We are thinking it would be on the reset, the next reset, so that's Tuesday, or potentially different depending on your time zone. But we are thinking approximately within 4 days time, incursions will be out. And although this is coming in a little bit late, just like that shot, hopefully I can give a little bit of insight of just how I feel it's going to go, as well as offer some advice on where to be. Now, from Division 1, incursions were quite mechanical, and adding in the simple fact of their most mechanical raid so far has been Iron Horse, and I believe I've seen it a few times that I believe it was on like a live stream that they did, of they're wanting to make incursions pretty damn mechanical, something along the lines of the Iron Horse raid. So these aren't just mechanical, it's complete tasks while on fire, complete tasks while getting electrocuted, run round, press buttons while being shot at and disoriented. There's going to be a variety, hopefully, of interesting mechanics. So I kind of want to go over a few builds that I have. They're mostly raid builds, which is essentially all I'm going to be suggesting. However, if you do need further help with this, then I do have some awesome suggestions for you. First up is going to be Vroom. If you don't have the Vroom Discord, there'll be a link in the description. Absolutely do suggest going there, even if you are a new or experienced player. It is mostly a speedrun hub. It's the community that basically tracks all of the speedruns within the game. However, they are absolutely amazing people. They are pretty much at the forefront in figuring out a lot of the Division 2 information, as well as mechanics, math, builds, etc, etc. They are typically all over it. Then for console, we have both Little Huge and Nerve CYC. So if you are a console player and you're wanting to specifically look at something that is just console, both of these people have absolutely amazing communities, and both of them actively do raids as well, so not just incursions. They are also mostly, or at least from my understanding and knowledge of both of them, they do pretty decent in the raids regardless. So I can foresee them both being pretty prominent figures within the incursion communities as well. And finally on this list, despite we have an honorable mention in a minute, finally on this list is going to be GC Rock. He has already created posts as well as forum pages. There's like an entire Discord channel for prepping for the incursions. And he also covers all platforms, PC and console, both Xbox and PlayStation. So hopefully you should be able to get a good amount of information from there of what people are already speculating, what you can get an idea of, and where to go with it. And then eventually when incursions do come out, I imagine they're going to get some pretty hefty information chunks pretty damn quick. GC Rock does tend to work pretty damn fast, so I imagine he is going to be all over it. And GC Rock also has some hefty connections, both the development team, player base, as well as, he's kind of like good friends with a lot of the end game community who figure out some absolutely awesome mechanics. So I imagine he's going to be pretty much up there in terms of information. And finally, as an honorable mention, I have to shout out Bro Squad. 1, I'm part of Bro Squad. 2, we are also going to be kind of going for like among the world's first to complete an incursion. We're sorting out a team as we speak, and hopefully this is going to be something that I can live stream, record, etc, etc. So there is going to be a bit of Bro Squad action as well, but I imagine for the vast majority of your information, Vroom, Little Huge, Nerve CYC, GC Rock. Those 4. Should just do that. So hopefully this can give you a little bit of insight on where to go. Then last on this list of preparing you for the incursions is going to simply be builds. Now builds are going to be a huge part of this because they are going to be fundamental in pushing you through the mechanics and figuring out the mechanics. Obviously, a DPS build of some description. I'm pretty sure at this point we all know what a DPS build is. However, then finding clear, effective builds for a variety of different roles can be a bit convoluted. So we're going to cover healer builds, CC builds, a few varieties of tank builds, whether it just be straight up tanking, just in case there's a mechanic such as key tank from the Iron Horse raid, of where you just need to stand there, look pretty and not die. Potentially building up a timer of percentage, so you get in at 0 and it builds up to 100, and then congrats, but while you're there you're getting hit by everything. Also Hasbro, and we're also going to look at potentially a few other things. I would also suggest a marksman build, sniper build. However, I don't really have one that I can show because I'm absolutely terrible at marksman builds. However, hopefully I can convince Hutchler to do a follow-up on this. I'll see if I can pester him to put it on his list of things to do, of like incursion ready builds, and I think that would be something pretty easy and simple for him to do. Get some content out while he's got his gammy arm, which should be entertaining. Then for our last two builds, we're going to look over jammer builds, which are very few and far between, simply just because the only place they really have a place is dark hours. And then finally, oxidizer builds. Now, oxidizer builds are actually pretty damn powerful, especially when used in the right areas, in the right space, under the right mechanic. They are very prominent in things such as the Iron Horse raid, as well as legendary capital building. Other than that, although they still hold their power, they're not really of much overall use, which is kind of a shame considering, like I said, how powerful they are. Now for the builds, this is just going to be your standard CC build. Pretty much every role is status effect. I would suggest going survivalist with some form of sledgehammer, Scorpio just to help keep yourself alive. Other than that, it's 4-piece Eclipse, a Hana U piece, and then Courier for perfect creeping death. Very standard CC build. Then we have your standard healer build, 4-piece Future Initiative. You can use whatever you want. I would suggest a shotgun anyway, just to help you stay alive, simply because we are going to be using the setup for perfect opportunistic, which is 1-piece Uzina, which opportunistic only really procs with shotgun or marksman rifle. So that is going to be the main reason we're going to want a shotgun. Then we have a full Hasbro build. You don't have to be an absolute mental case like me, who's completely flexing having a Hollow Man, but 3-piece Uzina, 1 Bellstone. I'm running Perfect Vanguard, and then obviously 1-piece Jarl for the Hasbro. Put hazard protection everywhere with armor regen, and then run Demolitionist. You'll need 1 mod for Disrupt, 1 for Ensnare, and 1 for Shock, and this will put you at 100% Hasbro across the board. For a jammer build, I run this weird mix thing, but you can also get away with using hardwired. 3-piece Empress with both named pieces, so perfectly skilled and perfectly calculated. This does allow you to actually get some pretty decent uptime on your jammer pulse as long as it kills something. It's mostly for the drones in dark hours, but we also have some repair skill in there, along with BTSU gloves and a healing hive, just so that I'm able to proc overcharge. This is just something I use just in dark hours. And then we have the stagger tank. This is really simple, to be honest. It's 3-piece Gilligard, 1-piece Murakami for Emperor's knees, essentially 1-piece Bellstone, and then Tardigrade. This has some pretty awesome regen on it, and the skill tier just helps out with the Artificer Hive. I have a red Future Initiative set that works pretty well with an M1A rifle, just in case you would like the buff, but you don't necessarily need the healer. A Empathic Healer, which again is 4-piece Future Initiative, BTSU gloves, and we have an Alps Summit chest with Empathic Resolve. Key tank, again we're going to run Perfect Vanguard, 4-piece Foundry, and then a Bellstone backpack with Protector. Protector's not really required, it's just a nice thing to have. This is just my DPS raid build. It's something that I like, and it also gives me the option to utilize Dodge City holster. It's not really a requirement, but it's just, like I said, something I like. It's an example of a DPS build. There are quite a lot of them. And then finally, an Oxidizer build, 3-piece Emperors, Contractors, Foxes, and then a Wyvern piece with tech support preferably as a backpack talent, glass cannon for chest. Would also recommend having a Costa's go bag on you just in case. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Have fun, good luck, don't die, it's bad for the health.